All right, so for this next video, hopefully you've already watched the previous video where you've installed Python on Windows and watched the YouTube video if you need to do it on Mac. In that same YouTube video with the Mac one, it also teaches you how to install Pygame, so just watch the whole thing for that and then come back after this video. But what we're going to do today in this video is install a module known as Pygame. And so modules are basically a bunch of files that contain functions, definitions, and statements that you then, by installing them, have access to. So Pygame specifically is a really important module for what we do because we basically make video games for monkeys. And so we can use a lot of the functions that are already written in and just call them into our Python scripts without having to put in all the legwork of coding them ourselves. They're kind of like functions that you would install or packages you would install in R. So we're going to go ahead and get right to it. First of all, you do need internet access, so you cannot install Pygame without internet. So we'll go ahead. I'm going to share my screen once again. And this will be a pretty short video. It's a pretty easy thing to do. But yeah, so once again, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your command prompt or your terminal if you're working on Mac, and go ahead and open the command prompt up. So we already showed in the last video that we have Python and we have pip installed. Now we need to use pip, which is a Python installer program, to install Pygame from the internet. And the way we do that is we do pip, so pip space install space Pygame, right? And then we're going to hit enter. And you should see a little bit of downloading. Sometimes it has a little white bar that moves across the screen. But in my case, it was just a little yellow dot. But we see here that installing collected packages Pygame successfully installed Pygame, Pygame dash 2.5.1. So that's the version. And yeah, and so then it's going to tell me that I need to install a new version of pip, which I don't. Just ignore that. And yeah, so we're all good to go. But we need to double check and make sure that it is on there. And so the way we can do that is we can send the command Python to our command terminal, our command prompt, hit enter. All right, so now we're using Python in our command terminal. It'd be the same way as doing it on the idle IDE, but we're just going to do it in here. And then next you need to do import space Pygame. And if it installed correctly, we should get a message, hello from Pygame community, Pygame 2.5.1. Now, if you did not install it correctly, there will throw an error here. But hopefully, if you followed those steps and you installed everything in the first video in the right place, you should be good to go. So now we have Pygame. It's on our computer. It's associated with Python. So we're good to go. The next thing we can do actually is I have a script here. I downloaded from the internet. I didn't write this one just to show you. So it may or may not work, but we'll see. But this is what idle is. And so here's the code. I like to show the line numbers just to have it. This should be a simple game of Screen Snake. Like I said, I don't know if it'll work or not. But you see here that we import Pygame from, which is a module or a library, and we're going to then use Pygame functions to create this Screen Snake. And so we go up here and hit Run Module. We'll see the shell opens, and sure enough, we have Screen Snake running. Whereas if we did not have Pygame installed, this would not open. And so this is a very simple game, but this is an example of the kind of things you can do. And I'm terrible. Anyways, yeah, so program's still running. You want to kill it? Yes. Cool. It's as simple as that. And so that is all there is to Pygame. Once again, if you have Mac, just watch the whole video on installing Python and Pygame, and they go over it. And yeah, so now that we have all the stuff we need, we can actually begin coding.